Welcome back, class, to this week of CIS 101, Intro to Computers and Their Uses. So last videos we covered databases, right? And by now you should be working on your lab. Maybe you already started on the exercise of SQL. So give you a chance to look at the same manner that databases are organizing data. Now, what do businesses actually use this data for? That's going to be our topic, the second half of this week, which will be information systems. So once you have all this data, right, what use does it have for all these major enterprises? So a vocab word from this week. Let's go ahead and take a look. So what is an information system? Let's check that out. All right, so information systems. Whoops. Is a collection of elements, people, hardware, software, and data. So it's not just the technological aspects, but it's also the people, configuring the technology. You put that all together, as well as users, right? People who actually consume the information, maybe people who have to make decisions. You put it all together, and that's an information system. So an information system is going to use all that data to generate information that users or leadership or employees of the organization uh, need to run their day-to-day tasks. So information systems do generate information to support users. IS, which is short for information systems, it helps manage and process the data from the time it's generated. So this data could come from orders, transactions. It could come from surveys and forms, right? If you ask users to fill those out. And eventually, right, when you convert that data into something more human readable, more useful, we call that information. So the process of organizing data, right, and processing it and using it to make decisions is essentially what an information system is all about. So we have software systems, right, which all the different components of a software. Now, the information you collect using that software, right, and you store it in a database, as we saw in the first half of this week's content, um, that can actually help make decisions in the business. It can make the software better. So depending on what your organization is, what your business is, you're going to be using that data to inform all sorts of different types of decisions. So some examples of information systems. So Google search, other search engines like Bing and Yahoo, those are information retrieval systems. So that's kind of under the umbrella of information systems. That's its own research category, its own field of research is just how to retrieve information, right? When you have a bunch of it available, as we do on the internet. Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and Hulu, they all also use information systems to manage their digital content. So those are those movies and TV shows to keep track of user preferences and deliver personalized recommendations. So they're keeping track of what you watch, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you started watching but maybe didn't finish. They're using all that information to improve your experience, right, with the application. They want to make sure that you have everything you want and need so that you keep watching movies, keep watching TV shows, and so they can keep making money. Salesforce, it's a very popular information system. It's a software system related to information systems. So it helps organizations manage customer interactions, track leads. So that means find new potential customers, new sales, and support sales teams with data about client relationships. So again, it's all about compiling data, processing it, and trying to extract information that's useful to the business to make the business work better, make more money, be more efficient. So when you're actually designing and you're making changes to that information system, we call that system development. You're developing the system, the information system. So when you're making changes, when you're modifying it, or you're making a new one to fit the needs of your business, we call that system development. So that could be getting new hardware and software. That could be training users. Uh, Either when you're making a new system, right, or making changes to your existing one. Maybe you have to improve it. Uh, you know, Maybe you have to modernize it, right? Sometimes our information systems get a little bit outdated. So for the most part, businesses, the way they use computers was for really computation, right? Routine transactions. But computers have transformed. They've evolved to do pretty much anything we want them to do, right? So now computers help facilitate not only collection of data, but also using that data to make decisions, to plan for the future, to even develop concepts. It's led to entire fields, right, such as enterprise architecture and business intelligence, which we'll be discussing in the next slides. So enterprise architecture, what is that? That's actually the blueprint, the the architecture, the design of the operations of a business or an enterprise. So another key vocab word. So what is an enterprise? It's a business, organization, government agency, any entity, right? Any group of people, right, that are trying to solve a problem, are trying to work together. So what is enterprise architecture? It's just the overall picture of the organization. What are the functions? What is each component, whether that's people, whether that's software, whether that's hardware? What is everything supposed to be doing? So the goal of having enterprise architecture is to organize the business effectively, right? So that you can achieve both the objectives of now, right, but also plan for the future. That leads us to business intelligence. So when you're gathering, storing, and accessing and analyzing data about a company, when you compile all that information, we call that business intelligence. So when you process that data and you find these trends, you're making your business more intelligent. You're giving yourself the cutting edge, right, to compete in today's society, in today's industry. So helping a business identify the most profitable customers is an example of business intelligence when you try to find who's making you the most money. And then if you offer them the right products, right, at the right prices, then you can increase sales. Another example is if you have an inventory, right, whether that's your menu, whether that's items that you're selling. If you optimize your inventory, you can decrease costs, right, and also make sure that the products that you're selling the most are available. And maybe the ones that you're not selling that much, maybe you don't have to stock up, right, and spend money on that inventory. So business intelligence is when you get all that data, process it, and you actually have facts. You actually have real information you can use to make your business more efficient. All right, so business analytics. So that's a process of taking that data, right, and then extracting that business intelligence. So first, information systems are used to support business intelligence. Then enterprises use sophisticated analysis and modeling tools to analyze the collected data. So in order for this business intel, right, for this business information to actually help us make predictions for the future, for example, you have to analyze it, right? And we call that business analytics. So a lot of business buzzwords, a lot of vocab, it's all related to data, how you get it, and how you use it to make your business better. Another key vocab word here is going to be data mining. Let me go ahead and hide this. There we go. That's better. Data mining. So, what is data mining? It's the process of discovering patterns, correlations, and insights within large data sets. So, it's very closely related to business analytics. It's just one technique, right? So, when you have a giant, for example, data set that you might get from a database, and you actually use math to extract those patterns, to find those relationships, to potentially use that, right, to predict the future, that's called data mining. So it's using software to find these patterns because for a human to do this, right, and to work through thousands, millions, billions of records would be very inefficient. Machines, right, really good at doing that. And when you do proper data mining, right, when you do analytics, right, of this information, then you can identify areas of improvement for your business. So, for example, in sales and marketing, it can help companies match customers with products that they actually will be likely to purchase. Big data. So another vocab word. So when we're talking about massive amounts of data, we have a big business buzzword for it, right? It's called big data. So how much data are we even working with, right? So according to IBM, that's International Business Machines. If you remember back from the history of computers, they're actually one of the early pioneering companies when it came to a lot of those early scientific computers, and they're definitely still around today. So definitely an organization we can trust. Uh, as far as collecting information about computers, at least. Globally, They say, according to IBM, we generate around 2.5 quintillion bytes of data per day. That's a 1 quintillion is a million times more than a trillion. That's how much we're talking about, and this is every single day. So why do we have this term for big data? Because we have entire research fields dedicated to how can we work through massive amounts of data, right, to gain insights, to use the data to improve our decision making, again, predict the future, in all sorts of fields, business, healthcare, finance, social media, for example. We'll talk about some of these applications, right, and these different types of information systems in the following slides. Huh. Let me refresh this. There we go. So here are the major categories of information systems, just some, not all. We have office and user productivity systems, so information systems that support offices. We have transaction processing systems. Most businesses, right, are dealing with some kind of transactions. Maybe they're selling something, or maybe it's just payroll, right? Maybe you're just paying your employees. That's going to be another type of information system. We have decision-making support systems. If you want to actually, make decisions, right? What's the best, route for success? How should we, get the best customers, right? Or the best products? Or how should we prepare for the future, right? That's going to be another type of information system. Design and manufacturing. We actually have information systems for building things, for designing things. And of course, the very hot one right now, artificial intelligence systems. And we're trying to use AI really for general purpose information systems. So we're going to apply AI really in all areas of life, now and in the future, really. So office and user productivity support systems, that's essentially right, information system that helps an office become more productive. So what are we talking about? We're talking about all the administrative activities that happen in an office, word processing, spreadsheets, email, communication between employees. These type of information systems try to identify areas of improvement, right? For getting that very mundane office work, completed. Then we have transaction processing systems, or TPSs. So information systems that handle the collection, modification, and retrieval of data related to transactions. Again, this could be orders, right? Orders for customers or for, between businesses if we're talking B2B. Or it could be payroll, right? Where you're paying your employees. Pretty much every business out here, right, has to be dealing with some kind of transaction processing. So they're definitely going to have some kind of information system, especially if the company's bigger, so that they can identify right areas of improvement, or at least make sure that the business is running smoothly. So many of these processing systems do operate in real time, meaning that they're pumping data into a database pretty much at all times of day. Amazon, right, definitely is going to have a TPS information system because they're dealing with orders, right, every single second, probably thousands of orders a second. So they're definitely having an information system there, right, to identify, hey, what are our best-selling products? What are the items maybe that customers are returning, right? What are some categories of items, right, that are making us the most money? So definitely all important information, right, that can make the business better. And then we have decision support systems. So this one's pretty cool. So information systems that assist managers and other users in making informed decisions by analyzing large sets of data and presenting actionable insights, often through interactive tools and visualizations. Uh, in the topic of politics, right, we just had an election at the time of this recording. There's definitely entire campaigns, right? I'm sure that the major parties are using information systems to figure out, hey, which voters do we need to work harder to get their vote? Which parts of the state, right, do we need to mobilize so that we can get them to vote at all? What are the groups of people, right, that resonate the most with our platforms, right? And we need to go out there and earn their vote and remind them to vote. So decision support systems, they actually make the entity, the enterprise, smarter by helping them make the best decisions. And then we have design and manufacturing systems. So these are very specialized information systems used for actually making things. So CAD, computer aided design, It's when you use data to create 2D and 3D models for product design. So you can prototype and modify designs. You can use the data, right? Oh, this design, right? We need to change it, make this bigger, make this smaller. Oh, we need to get rid of this because it just doesn't work, right? So when you're actually designing a product, information systems can be very useful. And even when you're delivering the final actual product, you can actually use computer aided manufacturing. So that's when you actually make your designs, you bring them to life, and you actually make things for companies, businesses, people to use. Nowadays, if you've heard of 3D printing, we're already 3D printing homes. That is a company that's already doing that. So where you pump in some input, you give it a design, and it'll actually build you a home. Now it's not like traditional 3D printing, right? It's kind of like a a stretched or I'll say a niche example of 3D printing, kind of a novel version of 3D printing, but it's definitely one that's already happening today. So information, data, right? We can really use it to do anything we want, right? As long as we get people, computers, and data, then we have all the ingredients we need to create a really powerful system. And of course, the most popular one is artificial intelligence systems. So these are information systems designed to simulate human intelligence and the decision-making process of humans. So they use data, algorithms, machine learning uh, to perform tasks that really humans would usually solve. Now we can get computers to do it. In fact, we have AI systems that the way they process the data is similar to the human brain. We call these neural networks. Now, not all AI is a neural network. Um, let's see. Let me close this. Not all AI is neural networks, but it is a very fast-growing category of AI systems. So for this week, we do have two videos that I do want you to watch. They are linked in this week's playlist. So if you go to this week's video playlist, here we go, week 11 lecture videos. We have two videos, one on how Facebook tracks your data, so how is Facebook using your data, and then one about how AI is going to potentially change the world. The AI video will be a good kind of preview for next week once we get into technology and society. So we'll get very political. Just to remind you all, my first degree is in political science at UCLA. So I'm definitely, I'm not, the leading expert on politics, but I'm definitely well informed when it comes to these issues. And as an engineer, right, definitely well informed when it comes to technology. So I will give you, the best information I can this upcoming week, and hopefully shed some light, right, on some of the future relationships between technology and society, some of the things we need to worry about, some of the potential solutions, right, for the problems we're going to encounter, and most of all, show you like where do we fit, right, as regular people in these huge systems, right, these huge trends, these huge um, kind of like groundbreaking moments, right, in history, because we are in a big technological shift, right? And this is something that's happened before in history, where technology comes in, people become worried, right, about how it's going to affect jobs, our economy, the fabric of our society, right? So we'll be discussing all those things next week. So definitely make sure to watch these videos, right, as well. And then next week we'll get into some politics. Uh, Hopefully it'll be all good things, right? I'm sure we're gonna have some maybe differing views for some of you, but I do want to say, right? I just the all I want to do, right, is give you guys the best information and hopefully make you feel more informed, right, about these issues. At the end of the day, knowledge, it is that that cliche saying, but knowledge really is power, right? The more you know, the more you can prepare yourself for the future, for the present, and for these big changes, not just in society but also in our own lives. All right, so go ahead and check out those videos, and as always, if you need any help with any assignments, feel free to reach out.